worth it? Is it for the future? The family. I want more. I want freedom. I'm purpose driven for equality. You're gonna know my name. I'm still the same. Ain't nothing changed. You're gonna know I am good. Respect me and my legacy. And I wish you would Google me, read my story. You're gonna know my name. The family. I want more. I want freedom. I'm purpose driven for equality. You're gonna know my name. Welcome to the face behind the brand. You're gonna know I am good. I'm excited about tonight. Amazing queen from the East Coast, New Jersey native. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the face behind the brand. I am so excited. We are back. We are back in action. I have an amazing, amazing guest that you're viewing right now. She is ready, of course, for tonight, this amazing show, to be honored, to be spoken about. I am, of course, your host, Monique Marie, and you are the incredible creative director, art director, creative designer, photographer, graphic designer, okay, hip hop queen, okay, of the culture, Kat McBride.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely, darling. How was your day today?
My day was good, busy. You know, I wear a lot of hats, work really hard. So, you know, there's always a lot on my plate. My to-do list is always multiplying like cockroaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. I brought you in, of course, because first of all, thank you so much for all of your support this last 30 days. You know, it's been incredible. I, of course, had you to be a part of an amazing project with me. I met you, of course, through Akil Ali El. Shout out to Akil Ali. And you, of course, were on his interview almost, what is it, a year and a half ago? It's been like literally almost 2 years ago. And wow. It's been crazy. So ever since that, you know, we've been connecting, and I'm just so grateful to God. You did an incredible project with me. You did the cover art for Undercover Hater. So I had to bless you back and say thank you, and have you, of course, on the show and talk about just everything about, of course, who you are as Kat McBride. So let's get into it, okay? For those that don't know you from the East Coast, because you got a lot of Jersey fans and New York fans who are gonna see this, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Hackensack, New Jersey, born and raised. Mm-hmm. I'm a diehard Jersey girl. I've lived here all my life, and not to say I'm gonna stay here forever, but you know, this is where I am right now. Very close to New York, Philly, everything. You know, I can hop on a plane to anywhere else I need to go. So
yeah. So you, of course, as we know, are a designer. You know, and I always ask people, of course, why? Why design? What got you into creative design?
Well, I've always been an artist. Mm-hmm. Ever since I was a little kid, I used to carry around a little clutch purse with crayons in it. Mm-hmm. My mom worked a lot, so it was always like, go sit there and draw, and that was my thing. Yeah. And then, you know, it was just something that, like, I was just trying to figure out a way to monetize it, because it's like, you like to draw, so now what's your next step? What are you going to do after that? So. Absolutely. So we're talking about mom and pop. You are Vietnamese and Italian. Your culture, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful queen here, of course. Talk about, of course, Monmouth University. You have a BA in graphic design. So talk about, during college and things like that for me. Monmouth is a trip. No, it's you know, they trick you. They say, oh, it's going to be great because you're right by the beach, but then what they don't tell you is that it's summertime when you're out of school, and if you're by the beach all winter, it's like rainy and cold and terrible. But you know, the art department was great. We had a little department. The teachers were fantastic. I have a bachelor's of art and computer graphics with a bachelor's of art with a concentration in computer graphics.
Ooh, incredible. So. An absolutely credible and talented woman you are. So who are some of the influencers? Like I always ask people, if you could compare yourself to anybody, who are some of the graphic designers, some of the art designers, the directors, who has Kat been influenced by?
Honestly, art is, now that, you know, it's different now. Like when we were growing up, there wasn't like the internet the way it is now. We had like AOL dial-up. So right now I've just been getting so much influence from everybody. There's so many designers all over the world. You go on Dribble, Behance, you can see what other people are doing and all the campaigns. You know, we're inundated by social media and campaigns. I don't really have one. I mean, there's the classics like Andy Rand and all them, but
wow,
you know, you learn about that at school.
So when it comes to like technology and stuff, because I think I'm a designer, you know, when I be doing my graphics and stuff for the, you know, for the flyers.
You do fantastic work.
I try, you know, but what type of technology what if someone doesn't have technology? What if they don't have even a laptop? I mean, is there certain software that one needs if they're aspiring and want to be following your footsteps? What do they need?
Well, if you want to be like a graphic designer, you're going to need like the Adobe suite. You're going to need a Mac. You're going to need like Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, After Effects. However, nowadays, you know, people use Canva and it's limited. You know, you can do some things, but it's not really like as extensive. And there's a lot of like those apps that you can use on your phone, which are cool too. You can get some cool effects from those. They're not going to give you anything that's printable, and you're not going to be able, like, you can take some cool photos and some cool video and edit them, but you're not going to be able to do projects like boxes and you know, store signage and everything. Those you definitely need the Adobe suite for.
Yeah. Well, I find it very interesting us meeting each other because, as we both know, we're from an amazing and incredible industry. You have found your way, of course, to Solstice Sunglasses as far as your work. You have a lot of work. And of course, I went down the list just to name a few, of course. Solstice Sunglasses, you know, Minolta, Konica Minolta, U.S. Army, Medallion International, Seton Hall, just to name a few. Okay.
Right.
But what got you into, of course, the love I know for sunglasses, because you already, I can tell you are a fashionista.
I love sunglasses. Always fit. My weight sometimes will go up and down like Oprah. Sunglasses and accessories always fit.
Yes, yes, that is totally.
Yes. And you know, so I spend a little more on accessories, a little less on clothes, because especially, you know, you're a single mom, you like the kids spill stuff on you and you gotta like clean stuff. But so I started working for a trade magazine called Vision Care Product News after I left 201, which is another magazine in New Jersey. It's like a more affluent magazine that's owned by the Bergen Record. So when I left there, I went to Vision Care Product News. And then, so that's an optical trade magazine. So then you get like all the ins and outs on like sunglasses and the new glasses that come out. And then you know, you go to all the events and they show you like all the fashion stuff, like the new spring line, the new fall line. So once I left there and I went to the agency, because I had so much optical experience, I just gravitated towards the Solstice account. And, you know, I was just familiar with the products and how to work with them. Because how do you make sunglasses look great? You know what I mean? You got to tilt them, you got to move them, you got to get rid of reflections. It's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, well, I think it's incredible because that's a big one. For those that are not familiar with Solstice, what Kat and I are talking about is, of course, Solstice Sunglasses, familiar with the chain. Solstice, of course, is in all of the, you know, the Westfield shopping centers and the malls. And of course, what we're talking about is Kat has managed to accomplish the work for their design and to be able to do the ad space and images and everything. So I find that incredible. Solstice is similar to, what would you say, Kat, like Sunglass Hut, What else? Yeah, yeah. Sunglass Hut, like lens crafters, all those chains that carry all those beautiful, like what she's wearing, beautiful sunglasses. So incredible. So congratulations on that work. You've also, of course, been able to accomplish many artists, working with other artists, of course, doing photography for artists. The culture, of course, as we know, is incredible, is big. Hip hop culture is where you found yourself an amazing home. Talk about just being in the studio and the environment and vibing out with incredible artists.
Oh, I love the studio. I am like, I'm an extrovert. So like sometimes I talk, but for the most part, everybody's working. So we get in there and I'm just kind of walking around, taking pictures, jumping on things, being weird, like trying to get weird angles, but it always kind of works out, you know? And I shoot a lot just so I could, you know, you have to shoot a lot of pictures just to get like the right one. So, but everyone's really great. I have so much fun. I love it. Being around the creative energy. It's just, there's nothing like it.
And that's interesting because, you know, I'm big on energy. I talked about that when, of course, talking to you, your vibe, your energy, super talented, very funny, just natural humor. I could imagine and see why, of course, the artists love you. What is your love, of course, what is it about hip hop though? You know, I'm always interviewing artists, hip hop artists. So what is it about hip hop for you?
I am a girl from Hackensack. So I grew up on, you know, Biggie, War Report, It Was Written, Illmatic, you know, Infamous. I also just have a love of words and vocabulary, and like, you know, it started with like proverbs and, you know, lyrics. I'm a huge lyrics girl. Like I'm not, you know, you got to tell me something. I need to hear something.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say some of your favorite hobbies obviously include photography?
Correct.
Yeah. Favorite hobbies. So I was noticing, of course, color, of course. Some people take, you know, a lot of black and whites. I noticed when, like, even looking at this picture behind me, you capture color so vividly. And I think it's a gift to be able to do so. You could take this a picture, but you can also take a photograph. So talk to me about inspirations when it comes to capturing colors, just random colors, random pictures, just like this one here.
I really gravitate towards water and light for whatever reason. I'm kind of obsessed with water and light. So I'm always looking at the lighting and how that affects the colors, and two colors, when you put them next to each other, they're like people, they influence each other, and they change they change each other basically. So I always like to find that mix. I always think that's interesting as far as art goes. But yeah, I love photography.
Yeah, well, I think you do really well just in capture. I mean, I like to take pictures just of everything. I got like probably 5,000 photos in my phone right now. Like every other day I'm having it. And I don't upload.
I just went through and deleted 2,000 photos. I'm like, I need some space. I'm getting rid. Whatever I don't need, I'm getting rid of it. That's it.
Girl, I don't want to get rid of it. I just want to save everything. That's what I think the problem is. The problem is I don't want to delete. I don't want to delete shit. Like really, I don't. So again, yeah, more artists, of course. You know, I just noticed, of course, while you're capturing artists, you're capturing, of course, the buildings. You're capturing architecture. Just an amazing, amazing designer, amazing photographer. So if I was talking to you about work ethic, okay, how are you able to work cross-functionally when it comes to other developers and when you're dealing with copyrights or project managers, et cetera? How does Kat deal with all that and, you know, collaborate with everyone who's involved?
You know, when I take the photos, they belong to me. So I have the copyright. When I give them to the artists, you know, I really am just asking for them to acknowledge my work and just to make sure they're tagged and acknowledged. And, you know, it's the same thing. Like if you took someone's sample, you need to acknowledge them and you need to pay them. Working as far as work ethic and working with other people, I think that as long as you are kind of like upfront with what you're doing and your purpose, you know, I think everybody's kind of cool, and I really haven't run into any problems as far as that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So I know, of course, you've worked with so many, but I know it's hard to narrow it down. But if I have to ask you just a few, tell me about some of the projects you're most proud of.
most proud of? I think Future Before Nostalgia for Rashid Chappelle and Kenny Dope.
Ooh,
It was a
about
huge
it.
project for me. That was one of my first, well, not one of my first music projects, but it was like my first press vinyl. And then we did like the whole cover, and it was really, really cool to work with them and to like hear the music and go to the studio. And I actually did some of I did the photography of, it's Rashid's son on the cover. And then, he had an idea for it. It's like an equation of hip hop. So then I went through like, how can I make an equation of hip hop? And we came up with all these different words, and it ended up coming out really well.
Absolutely. So what would you say for someone that's looking for a graphic designer? Because again, we're talking about, cover art and doing people's, planning for their whole presentation. What makes a good graphic designer? And second part of the question would be, how do you spot a good graphic designer?
Okay. Now there's a lot of artists, and they're great artists, but maybe they're not graphic designers. Because art is art. Art is so subjective, but at the end of the day, if you're a designer, the best designers are artists, and they're creative, and they think outside the box, and they're visionaries, but they also have technical abilities. So they have to be able to make the files work. So you have to use your right brain and your left brain. You can do something and it's beautiful and wonderful, but if it's not the right file format, then they can't print it on a t-shirt. Or, if you don't know anything about resolution and you don't know anything, the technical back end of it, we can't stretch that to be a poster. There's no way. It's going to look fuzzy and terrible, and it's just not, it's going to look unprofessional. So I think that they have to have both.
Yeah. Well, I like that, of course, there's an inner peace, and we talked about that with you. Just being who you are as a person, and a believer, in God, universe, just knowing that there is obviously something guiding you. But talk about some of your inspiration. Where do you find inspiration? I mean, aside, of course, from music and from nature, where does Kat get her inspiration from?
What I learned in COVID, being on lockdown, is that I am an extrovert and I need to get out of the house. So I get a lot of inspiration just from talking to different people. And I'm not even talking about like clubs and like going out and partying and stuff like that. I'm talking about like, I just need to get out of here. Like, I need to go to the grocery store. I need to see different colors. I need to see what's going on in the world. I travel a lot. I love to travel internationally. I think my next step, I'm going to try to travel in the United States, because I've never been to like Miami or Chicago.
Cali,
or,
Cali.
If I come to Cali, I'm coming to visit you.
I know you are. Hello, the Bay Area. This is where it's at.
Oh, listen, I love the Bay. I actually was there a couple of years ago. I went to I was in Oakland. Yeah. Oakland, Berkeley, Alcatraz, Chinatown, San Francisco, everywhere. It was dope.
Girl, you will love, of course. Well, how long were you here when you came?
I was there for a week.
Okay, so that's about right. With San Francisco, visiting everything. Oakland, but I mean, you can visit.
A lot of traffic out there. Y'all have a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot of traffic. It's hella traffic. I mean, that's just what it is.
Hella
traffic. It's the Bay. I mean, what can I say? So funny. Yeah, it's the Bay. So some of the things, of course, that I, of course, deal with lyrics, and I'm a lyricist myself, of course. I think I am.
Absolutely.
But no,
you are on that.
You work with a lot of lyricists. You work with a lot of wordsmiths. So this is a time. This is a time during the show that I like to come up with. I like to talk about, of course, words. I like to identify you and your craft with some of those words. Okay. And then I also would like to do wordplay with you. No wrong or right. No wrong or right answer. Basically, you just tell me what your thoughts are when I tell you, of course, a word or a word combined together. You ready?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, but you're like, oh shit. Welcome to the face behind the brand.
Hey, I'm here now. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Okay. First word. Well, we said it earlier. I might have to give you another one, but I want to know what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say again the word. You are an inspiration to me, McBride. So, inspiration. What do you think of when I say
energy?
That word? Energy. Ooh,
Energy.
elaborate.
Absolutely. Well, I just think that people, when they're passionate about things, they talk about them, and you can feel the energy come out of them. You can feel, and it's so inspiring when, you know, and I get a lot of my inspiration from interacting with different people, different ideas, and, you know, the energy just feeds me. Not like I'm a vampire or anything, but you know what I mean.
Not at all. Don't make me laugh. Okay, next word. Implementation.
Implementation.
Oh. Yeah, you implement quite a bit, you know, so.
Get up. Implementation is just, you know, action. Action over words.
I like that. I like that.
You can think about a problem all day long, but if you don't do anything about it, nothing happens. Nothing solved.
Interesting. Perfection.
Overrated.
Ooh, talk about it, please. Talk about that.
Well, as a kid, you know, and growing up, I wanted to do everything perfect. I wanted to be perfect, you know, and it paralyzed me. I would be afraid to start things because I was scared to fail. I was scared how are people going to look at me and all kinds of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, all I did was nothing. That was worse than like doing something and it wasn't right. And honestly, I now give myself the freedom to know, like in my head, I know the first time I do something that I have never done before, it's not going to be that great. And the second time it's going to be better. And the third time I usually nail it. Like, you know, you have to critique, you have to go back, but perfection, get it out of your head. It doesn't even exist.
I love that. Overrated. I love that. Well, would you say that you're more of a, and I'll go back to the last word, but obviously you would have to be a conceptual thinker to even gravitate and indulge in what you do every day. You have to think out the box, would you say?
Right.
More than just
conceptual thinker. I think that all of us creative people are alchemists. Like we take one thing and we transform it into another. We take a line and a pencil and we transform it into a beautiful picture. We take, you know, this machine and we make photography that show emotions. You yourself take musical notes and words and put them together and people feel things. Yeah. You know, we're alchemists. All creatives are alchemists.
Yeah, I love that. Last word, of course, and this, I think you're very, what's two words? You're highly effective.
Highly effective.
You're highly effective individual.
I am super highly effective because I have this notebook right here that I write my stuff down on. Like, you know, they say, I think it was Erica Badu. She was like, if you want serious results, you write it down with a pen and a paper, and then you put that into the universe. So I make my to-do list and I cross it off in a red pen, so I know. I like to be efficient because I don't have time to do things twice. I don't have time to do things over again. So it has to be effective. And the only way to be effective is you do something and then you look at you critique it. You say, how can I do it better the next time? And the next time you implement that, you put that into action, and then you get better every single time and more efficient because I'm lazy. I don't want to do it twice.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's so funny that you're always finishing my sentences because I actually was going to say efficient or highly effective, you know. I got one more. I usually only do three, but I got one more for you. Because again, I see you've done so much, of course, even in like I said, short time that I've known you, and even during the time through COVID, through the pandemic, through you were sick yourself. You know, it's all these things you were challenged with, and you still were you didn't care. It's like, I'm going to accomplish this. So the last word for you I would have to say is execution. What comes to mind when I say execution? Yeah.
Execution is, I don't even know. Execution. No, I mean, the time when you stumped me. No, the time when I say execution, it's like a lot of times when I'm critiquing other people's work, I always think like, you know, this is a great idea, but where it fell short is the execution. So sometimes people have like great conceptual things, but the technical ability doesn't live up to it, or, you know, they don't have knowledge of typography or lighting or texture or anything like that. So it falls a little short. But yeah, the execution is really important. The idea, the concept, and the execution are actually, you know, I'm a Libra, so it's It's about the balance. They're
Yes.
equally important.
Yes, absolutely. Well, what would you say is the difference between living and existing?
Living and existing.
Mhm.
Existing is like bread and water, like you are just making it through the day. Living is like finding a passion, finding, something that excites your soul, something that they say that you're not really living unless you have something that you'll die for, like your family and your people. And yeah, man, like you like living is so much more than just existing. And the day to day,
Mhm.
boring, wake up, go to work, like you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Which leads me into my next question, of course, how important it is to do what you love. Is it important to do what you love, Kat McBride, or is it important to love what you do?
Is it important to love what I do or do what I love? I think it's the same, no? I
Possibly.
love what I do and I do what I love.
Yeah.
I've evened it out somehow.
Yeah, it's
I've
one and the
evened it
same,
out. So
right? It's so many people come up with different answers. It's like, well, it's important to do what you love in order to love what you do. My thing is I have to love what I do. If not, I'm not doing what I love.
right. Like I love art and I'm doing art, and that's all. I just need to be around, like I need to be creative and I need to create things,
Yeah.
whether I'm monetizing that or whether I'm, just doing it for the love of it. It's part of who I am.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Absolutely. No, I get it. And speaking of who you are, what life lesson would you say that you've actually learned the hard way?
All of them. All of them. No, but the most important lesson I've learned is not to worry so much about what other people think, because being caught up in other people's opinions of you, like people are going to try to tell you who you are, but you have to know who you are on the inside, and you have to, know who you are, know what you, will do and won't do, and live and die by that. That was like a Nipsey quote, like live and die by that. Figure out who you are.
I love that.
Do you judge you anyway?
Yeah, I was gonna say, with everything that you know and understand and have learned, because you are educated, you were educated based on, of course, the love for graphic design, for designing. Do you feel that you ask enough questions, or secondly, or do you settle for what you already know because you know so much?
You mean when I'm talking to a design client or just people in general?
I think with anything. I mean, yeah, definitely with the client, but even with, fellow, synergy partners, people you're collaborating with. Do you feel that you ask enough?
I don't ask enough questions. I do a lot of observing though, because if you sit back and you watch people, you see what they gravitate towards, like their actions always speak, louder than their words.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't have knowledge of self, so they say, oh, I love this and I love that, but that's not really what they do or what they choose or the actions that they take. So you just kind of have to watch what they do. I'm an observer more than an asker, but I should ask more questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something, the reason why I asked that is something that I think, even if you think you know things, I'm starting to want to do that more, and not be concerned with, like what you said, with what the person's going to think. I think a person will want you to ask them more, especially if you're working on a project with them. It shows more interest, right? That you're more concerned about their project or just them in general, what their thoughts are, so it's something that I'm working on too in 2022. Okay, 2023 going. Going back to the artists, of course, because of course, like I said, you've worked with many. A few of the artists, of course, that I've interviewed, those fellas down there and out there in New York, Mussolini, G4 Jag, these guys out there. Talk to me about working with these fellas. Some of the influence that they, of course, have given you too, aside from, of course, allowing you to come in and take pictures and everything like that.
Right. Everyone's been really cool. I haven't worked with them, those two that you mentioned, Moose and G4, on design, but I have met them and taken photos of them.
Yeah.
But they have great energy, and like I said, sometimes I'm just a fly on the wall and I just kind of walk around and take photos and, just snap away, it's like sometimes we interact, sometimes we don't. But it all depends, because they're very focused when they're in the studio or they're waiting for their turn to get in the booth. You know, they're a lot of times they're all worried, you know, doing their lyrics, thinking about what they're doing next, and it's just really interesting to be involved in.
Yeah. So if you had a friend who spoke to you in the same way that you sometimes speak to yourself, I'm going somewhere with this. Let me start over with that. It's Cat McBride. If you had a friend who spoke to you in the same way that you sometimes spoke to yourself, how long would you allow this person to be your friend?
I would have to say, you know, I don't know, out of 50-50, like sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. We're gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has doubts, and everyone, you know, has a little bit of negative self-talk, but the more I'm growing as a person, I don't talk to myself like that. Or I try to catch myself in the middle of those thoughts, because they're not always mine. They're society, or something like an ex had told me, or you know what I mean, something that's not like something my mother has ingrained into my brain, and a lot of that stuff isn't mine to carry anymore, you know, because maybe I don't really think like that about myself, or you know, so I do talk negatively to myself sometimes, because I'm always trying to push myself to be better, and sometimes I do cross the line about critiquing to improve and being really harsh critic on myself. But you know, it's all about learning and growing, and I don't do that as much as I used to, because I love myself. I love who I am.
Do you talk to yourself?
I do. I absolutely do. Because I'm trying to do like affirmations, and you know, speaking things into the air. You know, back in the day when we were kids, we'd be like, "Oh, I'm broke." I'm like, I don't ever say that, because I'm not putting that into the air. I'm not calling myself broke ever, never, ever again, and I'm not. So you know,
say it out. You know, it's something you say that, because I say, if I was, I would say the opposite. Like I am wealthy. You know, my bank account. Like what is it? What is that one affirmation? I am a money magnet. You know, so it's like drawing.
Yes, there's a song like money tree, something.
I seen that.
Money
Like money tree. Money comes to me.
Yeah, I love that one. It's like, people send it to me all the time. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Money tree.
So it's like my bank account is overflowing. It's like certain things you say, even if it is, but it's like if you're needing more, desiring more to pay things or to invest in or whatever, you say that you have this already. It's already paid, you know, stuff like that. I love that. Right. Talk to me about this picture I just pulled up behind. We were talking about the artists earlier, and those are some of the guys there. Tell me about this day here with all these fellas.
Oh, that day it was 8,000 degrees. No, it was hot that day. The pump was open when we showed up. It was really great, because I hadn't met a lot of the guys, but they were so wonderful. And like I said, when we were in there, everybody was kind of waiting for their turn to get in the booth. They're on their phones with their lyrics. Everybody's super focused. You know, it was dope. It was really dope to meet everybody. And I went with Sheed and Buck, and you know, I just learned so much from them in general. You know, Buck's got the best stories. He's got so much information just overflowing. I just love to listen.
I wonder, I mean, do you think that, of course, I mean, do you write? I just have this feeling, this inkling that you got something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
And I'm like I'm a secret ghostwriter for all these rappers. No, I always say that if songs were one bar, I would kill it. I would be killing the entire game. One bar, but that's all I got it.
I think
not even. No, but it's so funny, because I have to tell you a story. One day, one of my friends was talking to us, and he was like, I was talking to a rapper, and the both of us were like lit. I guess we were out partying or whatever. And he's like, yo, I was overhearing the conversation, and he's like, so the two of you had, and mind you, I must have been a little bit drunk, because I don't remember this conversation, but he was like, you were telling the rapper that you're going to teach him graphic design, and he's going to learn in 6 months, and he's going to teach you how to rap, and you're like going to put out an album, and the two of you are like, yeah, bet, I'm going to do this. I'm like, yo, how drunk was I to say I'm going to put out an album?
Because that's what happens. I mean, it's not even, I think it's just natural. You know, for one person, it takes a spirit a little bit for us to come out a little bit more, the courage. but at the same
That was
time,
really bold of me.
it's something you wanted to say, you know? Shit, that's the way I feel about it.
Oh my God, that
Yes,
would be the worst thing.
I
I don't even like I've been on interludes before on when I was in college. I did a couple of interludes, and I couldn't even listen to them. I hated the sound of them. I did voiceovers once. Nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah. So traveling, talk to me about again more of where you've been, because of course all I can see, of course, is what you've done when you're, of course, on the gram. But sure,
Right.
last year, even in the middle of the pandemic, you've had the opportunity to visit some amazing places. Tell us about those places.
I was out. I need to travel. I need to be, because I work really, really hard. So I need something to look forward to,
Yeah.
as far as like, okay, I'm going to put in the work here, but I know in 2 weeks I'm going to be in Mexico. You know what I mean? 2 weeks. So I've been, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Costa Rica, where else? Puerto Rico a couple times. I've been to Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, the Philippines,
Jesus Christ.
Spain, Paris. I love to travel internationally. I love different cultures. I love people.
Yeah.
I also hate people that never leave their block, that never, because their worldview is so narrow.
Yeah.
Like they think one way and they don't, like, they haven't experienced other people. And so I love to travel.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got stamps, is what they say. She's got stamps.
I got stamps. I can tell you're the cutest man in the world because I got proof. What?
Yeah. You know where I want to go, Kat? I want to go to the Maldives.
Oh, yeah, no. Let's go. Let's book it. You can be part of the book it crew. Me and my homegirls. Somebody will be like, yo, I think we're going to wherever, what are we going to do? All right, book it.
Don't get me excited. And Dubai is on the way there. Like, so you like to stop in Dubai.
Hey.
Yeah. Have you been India?
Read up on the laws in Dubai because I feel like I break a lot of laws there.
Yeah. We don't want to get in no trouble.
Yeah. No, but that was like Singapore too. You never know. Like, you got to get the laws of the land. You got to figure it out before you go, because if not, like, what that kid got caned for like spitting his gum out or something, or graffiti or something. I'm like, yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. Well, tell me what's next. I mean, what you can tell us. What is coming next for Kat?
This Saturday, I'm doing some work for Exotics by Curtis Smith.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Exotics.
Yeah, so Curtis, I adore Curtis. I adore Curtis's family, everybody. He's got such good energy, and to hear him talk, like the integrity, it's amazing. So I learned so much because he's got a line of all natural products, and exoticsproducts.com, and we're launching the new site on Saturday. Plus he's doing an Amazon rollout. A lot of, I just did an insert for him. Yeah, it's a lot of great products. I'm very excited about, when you're working with someone. I can't work with everybody. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
But when you work with someone that has like integrity and is really passionate about their products, and the products are great, and I like I said, you feed off the energy. You get excited for them, like when you were about your song, you're so excited about it. You get excited for you, and you just want to help and be part of the journey, and I want to see you win. So let's win.
And I appreciate that you said that, because I kept, it's funny when you said that, because I was so worried about, the timing and everything like that with you, and everything that you had going on. And I think it was just amazing to me. It said a lot about, it helps me to be able to share what it's like to work with Kat McBride. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's there's a saying, people forget what you say, but they never forget how you make them feel. And when if somebody asks me, how did it go? I mean, did she complete the process? What was the process? I can honestly say I had a really dope experience. I can honestly say that, you were very concerned with everything that I was thinking, what's my vision, and and you ran with it. And of course you weren't feeling good, so I'm just like, this person was not feeling well and still was like, I'm going to make her deadline though.
I don't think they understand. Like, I had COVID and a concussion. I finished.
Crazy.
I did changes because you needed changes done for your meeting the next day. I was like, I'm in the ER right now, but when I get home, I'm gonna do your changes for you. And I remember when I was telling somebody, I was like, no, I got work to do, and they're like, bitch,
Yeah.
You were in the ER like 5 minutes ago. I was like, I know, but there's a meeting. They got to get the stuff to the meeting tomorrow.
And I was like, I didn't want to mention it to you because I was just like, okay, do I tell her? You know,
No, I'm glad that you told me though, because you know, sometimes things do fall in the crack because people were like, you know, they don't really have a timeline, or they're just like, oh, get it to me whenever, or you know, they don't get me all the pieces that I need. So if I have 2 things that I'm working on and I'm missing photos and words from you, but I have everything else from you, then I'm going here because I can't, there's nothing I can do over here, you know? So I was just glad that I was able, that I mentally and physically was able to get back to work to help you meet your deadline, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm very thankful. And again, we're talking about the cover for Undercover Hater. Just very simple, very chic, very bold, very telling, you know, and you totally got me. So if I had to give a reference for this amazing queen right here, Kat McBride, she's definitely the go-to, you know what I'm saying? And of course she gets it done. Shit, in the middle of a pandemic. But yeah, in the middle of everything that's happening. You know, like I said, I was amazed, and I'm just still so thankful and grateful and blessed and happy to know
I'm
you.
honored to be a part of your journey. You know, I'm when I say that I want to help people win, like, it's not bullshit. I really, you know, and sometimes I like, you know, I just want, you know, we talk about COVID, and I can honestly say in COVID, I had at least a dozen friends lose their parents, at least one parent. Like, you know, I think I've discussed this with you before. And so it got me thinking a lot about like my life and my legacy, and not, you know, who am I to have a legacy? But I think about, you know, my friend's stepdad just passed, and he was saying how much he was always there for him and always, you know, was around when he needed him. And I was like, you know, what happens? Like, how am I going to be remembered? And I just feel like throughout my life, and not even just with hip hop, but like with everything that I do, I just feel like my legacy will be that I helped people when I didn't have to, and you know what I mean? And I looked out for people when I didn't get anything from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's important to me.
Yeah, it's you know what I'm saying, but it's also it's humility. It's humbling to hear it, because of course, yeah, I think when I first realized that this was very serious, not that I was taking it as a joke, but when I first realized the pandemic was like real, I was actually with my mom. We were I was taking her to take a test, and I saw all these people outside. You know, Kaiser HMO is the big HMO here on the West Coast, and the nurses were in like astronaut suits, right? So I'm sitting here like, why are they dressed like this? And they were protecting themselves. They were like, you know, hi, are you here for this test? And then that's when I think I got it. I was like, this shit is serious, you know? And then that's when I start seeing all the people dying and all this, everything like that. So yeah, I can totally relate a little bit, because of the fact that it's eye-opening, and it kind of like your whole life flashes right in front of you.
It's a lot, you know. Life is short. You just got to enjoy it, and you got to do what, you know, you got to do things that you're proud of, that, you know, whether it's being a good person and helping other people, putting out good energy. Like, a lot of people hate themselves because they're not proud of themselves, and that really comes from the inside. So like life is short. You got to make moves that make you proud on the inside. You have to, you know, like, go after your passions without fear, because you might not have tomorrow to go after it.
Absolutely.
Just do it. If you fail, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And that's what it's about.
People laughing at you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think as an artist, you know, I mean, you get this because you're putting yourself out there. You're putting things out, you know, for people to see, for people to either like or not like, whatever. But that's what you're doing when you're putting a song out, is when you're putting something out there into the world, because it no longer belongs to you anyway. Once you put it out, whether it's copywritten or not, it belongs to them. But yeah, you're taking that risk of response. You know, you're going to get naysayers. You're going to get people who are very blessed by it. You're going to get people inspired by it. You know, so
it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk, and there's going to be people that love it because it's you and they love you, and then there are going to be people that hate it because it's you and they hate you, and it's not. And sometimes it has nothing to do with what you're putting out and nothing to do with the work, and so you just have to put it out and just, you know. And do you love it? Do you love it? That's all that matters. Does it make you proud that this is the work you're putting out? That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
That's all that matters. Boom.
That's all that matters.
So let me ask you this. I'm not going to hold you too much longer because, of course, I know it's, of course, 3 hours difference out there. Again, speaking of course, Solstice and companies like that, you've worked with Estee Lauder. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing job with being able to connect with Estee Lauder. Do you see yourself venturing off into fashion? Because I mean, you're there. Obviously, you're an amazing. Again, I always compliment your dressing, just the whole culture, your style.
Thanks.
Do you see yourself venturing off into working with more designers, like, of course, the sunglasses? You work with Dolce & Gabbana, even when it comes to the apparel.
I'm not sure. I feel like I could possibly. I don't know. I think I want to go more music now that, you know what I mean, than fashion. But the way the cultures are merging, it's probably going to be one and the same shortly. I kind of just want to keep working on different projects and see where it takes me. I like the people and I like the energy. So if it's music, it's music. If it's, you know, like right now, like I said, I'm working on products and this is amazing. Sweet Jamila, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, so.
Going through some of those people who you're talking about. You've worked with a lot of people.
Oh.
Who's that?
Some people I've just met, like people I just met, but I put that in there because I'm a huge fan. I'm like,
yeah.
This picture. I love it.
Yeah. It's just the whole point. Like, say it again.
Everybody's so nice to me. I used to be scared to ask for a picture, but now it's kind of like my thing. I'm like, hey, the only time I don't ask for a picture is when I go in and there's 20 guys, and I'm like, oh, I'll just go over here and just take pictures.
Well, it's just amazing. Again, out and about and work with. Yeah, you've met quite a few people in the industry, and like I said, we love you. You are continuing to, of course, make major headway, and you're doing an incredible job, of course, at just being yourself, which I think for anybody, of course, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what's catapulting you. And so in closing, I want to say thank you so much again for everything you've done for me, and just even for giving me the opportunity to pick your brain, as you know I wanted to do, and just you know, to cover your story. There's always going to be a story about you, because you're continuing to make a very big name for yourself, Miss Kat McBride.
Thank you so much. And like I said, I'm just honored to be here, you know, to be able to share in your creative energy and to, you know, be a tool for other people's visions. I'm helping people realize their dreams, and what, you know, it's an honor. It's an absolute honor.
Absolutely. In closing, also tell everyone where they can find you aside from Instagram, any other platforms that you're on. Also, you have a website. Please give out all of your information, please. And I'll take us out with a little bit of music.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Kat McBride, GRFX, graphics like from the 90s. And I have a Facebook account, but I never am on there. I have katmcbride.com, which will be updated as soon as I'm done with my list for everyone else.
Well,
but yeah, that's where you can find me. And
go ahead. Keep talking.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I that was it.
Say the last one, because I think I cut you off. Your Twitter.
And katmcbride.com.
Okay. What's your Twitter?
Kat McBride GRFX, like graphics.
So everything is the same across the board.
Everything's the same, which is great for branding. You don't want to have different names on all your socials because people can't find you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think on Twitter I did a different one. I was going to ask you your thoughts on that. Like, is it smart just to kind of, I think I've kept it Monique Marie, or I am Monique Marie, or Monique Marie Music with Instagram, but now of course with the face behind the brand, you know.
No, keep it all the same, and make sure that you have your same profile picture across all platforms, including Cash App, Venmo, and what's the other one? PayPal.
Okay.
Because you want people to be able to find you for payments.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you, of course, look, good to know. I'm glad you, of course, shared that information with us all tonight. So I want you to be safe this weekend. Continue to have a wonderful weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. You got any plans for the weekend? Of course, you
no, we have a snowstorm here. There's no plan. I will be here working like this in this exact chair.
Yeah, I love you and I appreciate you because I know you're working tonight. So you're going to still be working on the project tonight, right?
Yeah, I have some things that I have to get done by Saturday, so I'm just gonna, put in a couple more hours, and then get up early and put in a couple more, and keep it moving.
Well, bless you, bless your heart.
I don't stop.
And cheers, of course, to everything. Congratulations on 2022 and everything else that's to come. I see great things happening, greater things.
Thank you so much. From your lips to the universe's ear, and let's get it. We got it. This is our year.
Thank you.
Tiger year.
God bless you, darling.
All right, God bless you too.
Good night.
Good night.
And boom. Let me see. I'm going to resume because there is something I want to say and I might use this. So I think it's important. I do think it's important because I had actually prayed, and I do pray a lot, and I pray for the right friends, the right people to be a part of the team. So when you say soul tribe, that's big.
Soul tribe.
Yeah, that's big to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how this goes. You know what I'm saying? This industry.
Right.
It's a lot of, and I had another artist that said a lot of impure hearts. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's especially hard for women,
yeah,
because they're so cutthroat, and they have no morals, no scruples, no nothing. They're money hungry. It's hard to find good people.
Yeah.
So you got to cherish them, and I'm so glad that I've connected with you. And this is the second time this week that someone has told me that they've prayed for good people in their lives, and here I am.
Here I am. We gotta really realize that's yeah. Go ahead. We always
but it works out for me too to connect with you and Soul Tribe. It works out for me as well because I need good people in my life too. I mean, I'm surrounded by a lot of good people, but I need great people, and you're great.
People think sometimes I'm afraid to meet new people. Honestly, I'd be scared. It's like you don't know if they're coming at you for, you know what I'm saying, true reasons. So that's why I'm like you mentioned, observant.
It's really hard because people try to use you for things you don't even have. I would never ask my friends for favors for me. I'm not gonna ask them for favors for a stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you, and I just pray for you and your baby girl, and that you continue to thrive. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Oh my goodness, we are going to have such a ball. I can't wait because I know you have a trip coming up soon. I remembered you have a trip coming up soon.
But you know what? I gotta tell you, I'll tell you offline because I'm still recording. Okay. That's gonna change.
No, give me all the tea offline.
I'll give you all the tea offline.
Scorpio Mars.